Hey everybody, just want to show you what I've been doing with this F7B unit. Super glue all over my fingers. Hopefully I don't have super glue all over the model. I shouldn't have. So I didn't show you everything that I did to this because I'm going to show it to you on the A unit here in the next video or so. But what I want to do is I really just want to get this painted and decaled so I can pose it with the number 261, the other F7 that I've already previously done just for photos. But I've installed the side grabs, all the lift points, O-rings, D-rings, whatever you want to call them. Some grab irons on the ends, grab irons here, and once again, the B unit's very simple to do. Once you do the what is that? Oh no, trash. But once you do the A unit, you can figure out the B unit pretty easily. I'm going to send this to the paint shop here very soon. And that's a cardboard box in my garage. And you'll see the results of this before you see the results of the A unit. Here in the next, probably right after this part fades out and the next part fades in, you'll see me install the lift points on the front. You will see I will drill out all these pieces for the grabs going up. I'll make the toe hold on this portion here and show you the grab irons. I'm only going to do like some of the grab irons, and I'll show you how I install some of the lift points on the top. Pretty simple stuff, but you know, I skipped this part. I didn't show you this part, but I mean, once you see how I do this, these grabs are pretty simple on their own. So not looking too shabby. I can't wait to have this painted up, paired up with the other one. So I do have a bunch of parts that came in. I'll go ahead and talk about that. This Walther's dress-up kit has parts for the A and the B unit. The windshield is garbage. All the window inserts are garbage. Your side window and all that stuff. I mean, this one here's got a bubble in the middle of the window. I think the other one does too. This one has a bubble in the front part of the window. So I can't even use these. They look like crap. The portholes, or the porthole windows. Come on now, work with me. They glue in the back, and they look like they'd be easy to put in. But when you... Here, I'll show you. Come on. It's been one of them days, let me tell you. So when you put this in, it's pretty easy. But they sit kind of far back in there. I'm not sure if I like that compared to the laser kit that I did. And you see the windows are kind of like right on the outside of the porthole. I hope you can see the difference. So I'm going with the laser kit, and it's going to take a little bit more time. That's one reason I've decided to focus on the B unit for right now and get it out of the way. But I'm going to send this to the paint shop, and I may throw in a little video here and there of me painting this, but this should be done probably in the next couple of days. The kitchen is the only thing holding me back from doing anything. But I'm going to double check all the grabs, make sure I got them all on there where they need to be, look at some prototype photos, and then clean the windows up on the ends a little bit. They've got some stuff in there, probably clean the portholes up just a little bit. But off the paint it goes. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to install the lift points on the front. If you look at this one that I've already done, oh no, looks like I might have messed something up here. Straighten her back out. Okay, so these lift points here, they're pretty easy to do. I'm sorry, now you can see it. And this is all they are. So it's not that difficult. You just want to make sure you put it on each side of the door. So if you got the little line on there, like such. You want to put one on the left side or right side, of course. And all I do is I eyeball it. I don't really hardly measure anything, and I do pretty good at eyeballing things. But if you're not very good at that, you may want to make a measurement or somehow make a template. But all I do is I know where I want it. I basically look, I wanted probably about a 32nd of an inch, maybe a millimeter from the seam. And I want the bottom right here to be right here on this sill. So all I do is I just hold it on there and kind of see where it's going to be at. I take my drill and I make a little like a little indentation there, and then I do the same thing to the other side. Make sure that your drill bit's just a hair bit bigger than the little peg that you're putting into the hole. It makes things a lot easier. And what we'll do is I'll drill these out and we'll glue these in. I will go ahead and put the rest of the lift rings in on the top, and we'll do a couple of ladders here. Now, before we do all that, let me jump back over to the elephant in the room, or on the camera. I already painted the B unit. As I said in the first half, this is really easy. You're just drilling the holes, putting in the lift rings on the top, and the grabs on the sides. Now, what I did was screw up right here. I did not realize that they were ladder grabs that were vertical like this right here, and mine are horizontal. And I did it on both sides. And why did I do that? I'm not quite sure, but in my mind, I was thinking that if I was riding the shove, where would my hands be? And anytime I ever rode a shove and I had grabs that were like the outside of the ladder, I hated it. And my mind automatically went to like a box car or a coal car type situation where it was like the ladder rungs going up. And I put them on there. And then I realized after I did it, what I had done. And my friend Dwight, he busted my balls quite a bit about it and asked me if I was going to change it. And I told him no. And then a couple of days later, I guess he'd been drinking like some 11th Cav liquor or something like that, some whiskey or something, because he totally forgot our entire conversation. So then he comes back and said, "You going to fix it?" I said, "No." And then he tells me how to fix it. And I said, "Okay, I'll fix it, but I'm not going to. I just did that so he shut up and leave me alone." I was kind of having a bad day, and I got it. I screwed it up. Don't need to rub it in. It is what it is. But something that I got right was the F. There is a front to an F7B unit and an F3B unit. Any B unit has a front because the Federal Railroad Administration says there has to be a front to the locomotive. So these are your sand fillers. And the one closest to the front edge of the locomotive, that is the F. That is the front. So and that's what I did. And I think in the last video I mentioned that I couldn't remember the numbers, the number series of the F7s. I think it was 250 through 265. So I took this B unit and I made it 266. I think it looks pretty decent. I have not weathered it or anything like that. All I did was throw some dull coat on there. And you can see the blues are pretty close. They're not exact, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to use the crappy Walther's porthole windows. I don't know if you can see that on my finger, but it's there. And I'm going to put those in there. And they sit a little too far back, but I think it will be just fine. Like I said previously, these windows are junk. I wouldn't waste my time trying to worry about those windows, but these grabs, all these wire grabs are pretty good. I use my number 74 drill. Where's that? Right here. And I drilled out all the holes. And I say this all the time when it comes to super glue, less is more. Well, I thought I used a little amount, but evidently I used too much. You can see where when I pushed it through, it kind of beat it up here. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, obviously, since I got these wrong. And I should have went through and I should have used the tip of my my X-Acto knife and just kind of went through and just kind of scraped that off a little bit. So when you're doing your A unit, which is the most important in my opinion, make sure you don't make that mistake. Also, when I took off the boiler ports or pods or whatever these things were up on top, these parts, I dug into the plastic a little bit. Dwight once again busted my balls because he's my supportive best friend about that. And yeah, I should have probably went through and put a little putty in there, smooth it out, but I'm not too concerned about it. When you're looking at it like this, you can't really see it unless you're in the right light. So I mean, I'm not worried about it. I'm not even worried about these. I mean, that's an easy story to make up, that went into the shop and the shop foreman decided, hey, you need horizontal grabs instead of vertical grabs because the crew was bitching too much about having to hang on to the ladder sides, the ladder grabs. And that's legit, because that's what I would have done, because I hated riding anything that had these vertical grab irons on it, like the like a bulkhead flat car. They only had one. It was horrible, and you couldn't get your arm in there to hang on. Like I would hang on with my forearm inside the ladder when I was riding the shove on something like that, and I couldn't do it on that. So it really kind of smoked my forearms, especially if it's a long shove. And if there's a load on the car, you couldn't really grab the load because the load could shift, and you don't want to take a chance of losing your fingers. If the car was empty, it wasn't no big deal. I just stood on the deck of it and just kind of stuck my head around the corner and hung on for dear life. But it wasn't all that bad. But once again, this is 90% finished. Also, another mistake that I made that I didn't realize until I went to put on some MU hoses is the grab irons here are the ones that that kind of bend down a little bit, and I should have used the ones that just come straight out like this. But these bend down a little bit, and that's where my MU hoses need to be at. So I will have to put them just a little bit lower than what I wanted, but that's perfectly fine as well. And I had an epiphany the other day that these things that I thought were lights, and there was one on this side, like on the F unit or on the A unit, and I thought maybe one of those might have been where the MU cable, the big 21 pin or 48 pin cable plugged into. I've seen some photos where they were up here above the what's this thing called, the diaphragm. I've seen some where they were down here, so I don't know, maybe that's what some of those were besides just being a headlight. So I need to do a little bit more research on that, but I think it looks pretty good. The paint came out just a little thick in a few places. For the most part, it don't look too bad. And I know what you're thinking, hey, how come you didn't film that? Well, once again, let me go back to the most important feature, is the A unit, and I will show you all that on the A unit. So let's go ahead and get started on these nose lift ring holes, and we'll put in the let's see. We'll do the nose rings, and we will do a couple of these lift rings on the top. I can't remember if I showed you how I did that last time, but we'll do that. And because I know Dwight's watching, this part's a lot better, so I'm not going to mess with that either, though. And then we'll do a couple of these longer ladder grabs right here. Now, this piece right here, I still have to find an appropriate piece of plastic to cut down. I think this is our volunteer right here, and basically I'll just cut the rungs and everything off of it, and come on now, and kind of position it just like this. Matter of fact, I believe this is the donor, and it comes to about the right spot. And I will show you that in the next video, because I don't really have a lot of time tonight. My wife's really busting my chops about working on the kitchen. And if you go over to the community side of my YouTube, where I post some photos, I posted about 5 pictures of the kitchen as it is today. And today is the 10th, I think, September 10th. And I know my wife has surgery here in a couple of days on the 12th. And won't no work be getting done on the kitchen on those days. So I'll probably come out here when she's drugged up and asleep, and do some more, make some more video or additional video for this. All right, a couple of parts that I haven't ordered yet. The cooling coils that go on the top I talked about either last video or the video before. I haven't ordered them yet, and I somehow don't have any firecracker antennas. So I have to order those. I found a couple of brass bells in a box, and I got a couple more plastic bells. And the F7 had a bell, I think it was like right up underneath it here on the engineer side. So I'll add a bell to this as well. And then I think it'll look pretty cool. And like I said, I'm going to use these locomotives for some photo shoots. I'm going to try to get into model railroader and all that. So, all right. So the nose lift rings I used are Cal Scale 190-415. I'll leave that right there for you. And let's get to it. So I've already used this template here, or used this one as a template. And I kind of figured out where my hole is going to be. I'm going to use I'm not quite sure what size bit this is, but it's bigger than the 74. And I like it to be just a little bit bigger because it will allow me to move the detail part up and down just a hair, and you won't be able to tell that the hole's any bigger than, you know, anything else because it's hidden by the detail part. Well, all I did was I basically drilled into this little piece of wood, and then I put the drill bit in here, and then I super glued it in, and it gave me a handy little additional drill because at the time I didn't have this pin vise, and it was kind of a pain in the ass for me to drill anything, but this works out pretty decent. So let's get to it. If I seemed a little rushed, it's because I am, because my wife's going to be coming home soon, and I'm afraid of what she's going to say because the drywall mud isn't drying fast enough for her taste, and or in her opinion, I've been slacking, or I put it on too thick or something like that. So I'm not really in the mood for her crap tonight. And you know, when you go to the beach for a week, don't come home and fuss and complain because, you know, I take I'm a little slow in the mornings. You know, just because I used to be in the Army doesn't mean I'm a morning person, and I'm absolutely not a morning person. I hate mornings. I don't get up any earlier than what I have to. But 7 to 8 o'clock is the norm. Today was rare. I slept until 9, or maybe it was 8:30, and I told her to wake me up in an hour, and she woke me up at 10. So, I mean, I should have a little extra energy today. I'm sure y'all get tired of my rambling, but, you know, I guess maybe I'm nervous. I don't know how to put like music into anything while I'm working on something like on my videos. So you just gotta, you know, turn the volume down and listen to whatever you want to listen to on the side because, yeah, I'm not smart enough for all that. All right, little test fit here. That's pretty tight. And then once you get it in there, you can bend it, you know, ever so slightly either direction that you need to line it up. And that one fell out, but that's all right. Make sure this one fits. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And you don't want them sticking out at an angle. You kind of want to push them in a little bit. At least that's the way I like to do them. All right, so we'll go ahead and put these in here. Now, once again, super glue. I use Gorilla Glue, and I may have to bust open a new one here. Let's see. All right, so basically all I do is I squeeze this just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that little bubble of glue that come out there. And all I do is just a little like, I don't know, not even a millionth of a dollop. For all you northerners, that just means a little bit. And with this super glue gel, you got a minute or so to let it set up, or it'll set up in a minute or so, I mean. And then do the same thing for the other one. Remember, less is more. That don't look too bad just like that. Oops. All right, how's that look? Let's see. Make sure you can see it in the camera. Not too shabby. Compare it to the other one. Maybe a little bit wider than the other one. And a little bit wider, but not too bad. All right, so something I failed to do on this one is the wire grab irons here. So we'll put the vertical grab irons up here that are by the door when it opens up. I'm also going to be putting grab irons down here in this fluting for if you're riding the shove on the front, or not the shove, but riding on the front, which would probably suck anyway with this design. And I think there's another one up here. Okay, I don't know if I was looking down instead of looking at the camera. So I'll put another grab here, and then I have the uncoupling lever right here, and I'll be putting those on at some point. And 261, I don't know if this is going to get all the doodads like 265 here. This may be the locomotive that is the second unit in the consist, and whatnot. Just because I don't know if I can go through and put the details in and paint the detail parts blue and make them look good without, you know, something not being right. Because I got some blue paint, like a Tester's blue paint or a Tester's blue paint. That's a little darker, but honestly, you know, some of that doesn't even make a difference, you know, on some models, you know, some detail parts and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll keep working, figure it out. I'm gonna let this dry for just a second, and then double check my camera. There we go. I got a very expensive piece of apparatus that holds the camera in place. It's a 1x3 suspended on the layout on top of 2 pieces of 1x4 with a 10-pound kettlebell on the opposite end, and that way there it can just sit up there. And it's pretty redneck, but I like it and it works for me, so we're gonna stick with it. All right, so once again, this one, what I do is I literally decide where I'm going to put it. For the most part, there's that little dimple right here on the locomotive, and where the rivet, like the rivet sill or this rivet plating or whatever you want to call this, usually right in the corner, and then right in the corner up there is pretty good. For the most part, it looks pretty decent. And we'll do one here, and then we'll put in a couple more parts. And I'm not going to bore you to death with drilling all this stuff out and talking to you or nothing like that. I'll just go ahead and end the video here in a few minutes. If you have been a subscriber to my YouTube channel for a while, I appreciate it. If you are new, thank you for joining. I've been reworking some of my videos and starting to put everything in playlists. So the weekly layout update will be in a playlist by itself. These videos are all in their own playlist. The F7 build, I have a new build coming up. It's going to be a I think it's called Cold Run. It's a kit bash that Tony Custer did on his Allegheny Midland, and I found it in one of the older Model Railroader magazines. So I'm going to build that kit almost the same way that he built it, and I'm gonna, you know, make a video of it. So if you ever decide to kit bash something, that would be the way to do it, or one way to do it. Oh, damn it. Sometimes it's easier just to leave the frame in here to keep it from flipping over. And this is the first time I've ever done any of these, and they're already screwed up. So attention to detail is paramount. And if you noticed, I drilled a hole here, but what I didn't realize that I needed to drill straight down from here. So I have to put the hole right here. So that there will probably get a drop of super glue and kind of filled in a little bit. so you don't see it so much in the photos, and I might have already screwed up again, but we shall see. Let's do this here. Bring it down, see where we need to be. Looks like about right here. With these little tiny holes, you know, sometimes you're not even going to see them in a photo or anything like that. So there's no reason to get upset about anything. And these are pretty tight too, so whenever you put your glue in, it's going to squeegee the glue off like it did on the B unit for me, or on me. There's probably a different way to do this, or a better way to do this, but this is just the way I do it. It's easy enough for me. But if you got a better way to do it, then or you think you got a better way to do it, leave a comment below. Tell us about it. If you got your own YouTube channel, if you've done something like this before, you got some advice, you know, throw a link out there. Send me an email. HO Scale Model Trains 2022 at Gmail, and yeah, we can talk about it. You can enlighten me, because the best thing about this hobby is there are a lot of people out there that know a lot more than what I know. So I'd be an idiot if I didn't try to learn from everybody. So how's that look? Pretty simple. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by doing any more for you, but just remember, back here, they're vertical and they're short. They're not long like this one here. And remember, back here, they're horizontal. That does not have a little drop on there, and you'll be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here. I will trim this little piece down, and all I'm going to do is use my nippers. I'm going to go through like this, and then I'll go through after I separate everything, and then kind of clean it off a little bit, and I'll just super glue it in place, and that will be on the next video. Let's see, this one is, oh my God, this is long as hell. I've been talking. It's like about 30 minutes going on here. So we're going to cut this off right here. You'll see this part here next time. And like, subscribe, comment. Come back here in a few days and see what I talk about next. Thank you.